Live from the Preston Highway Studios, it's 24-Hour Purple People. And now here's your host, John Harper.
Well, hello and welcome to the first ever episode of 24-Hour Purple People. My name's John Harper. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you along for the ride this evening on this beautiful Sunday. And welcome to the show. Now, we have been working on this program for quite some time now, and it has been a lot of fun, needless to say, designing things, doing all sorts of fun stuff, and we will absolutely try our best to entertain you for the next hour or so. And let me talk a little bit about what 24-Hour Purple People is going to be. So, first off, we are going to have two 30-minute halves. Each one of these halves are going to be devoted to both of our two favorite teams here in Louisville, Louisville City Racing and Racing Louisville. And during this time period, if my two contestants get a little bit out of line, they might see a yellow card. Two yellow cards, and they're going to see a red card. They might even get a straight red card. Either way, if they get a red card, they're going to be muted for 60 seconds, where they cannot join the conversation in any form or fashion. And during those 60 seconds, the other panelists can sing a song, tell us their favorite joke, whatever they want to do, and it should be a lot of fun. At halftime, we'll have halftime hug time. We'll come back. This week, Louisville City will kick us off, and after Louisville City kicks us off, during the second half, we are going to have our Racing Louisville portion of the program. Sound good to you guys? Okay, sounds good to me as well. Now, I guess you would probably like to meet those panelists. So what we are going to do is we are going to let you meet those panelists. And right now, let me see here. Who do we got? Oh, Glenn, are you with us there, buddy?
Hi, John. Thanks for having me on tonight. I really appreciate it. I'm happy to be here. And I look forward to having a great discussion about all things racing and Louisville City.
And my second panelist needs no introduction, but we're going to give him one anyway. Mr. Matt Dalton.
Hello. How's everybody doing? Good to be here again. I'm not looking to have a good discussion about racing or Louisville City, so I came to the right place. I'm just looking to have a discussion, just like an okay one. That's what we're here for today.
A discussion is what you will have, good sir. I know that we have been doing our homework this off season, amongst other things we've been doing, and I'm just really excited. And we're going to bring you right now to our main show screen. Transition. There we go. Oh,
look, it's me.
Okay. Technical difficulties. Wait a minute. Yay! There we are.
Who would have guessed technical difficulties on the first show?
Well,
Not me.
Had to happen
Not me
eventually.
either.
So this is going to be our main screen, and as you can see, we will have. Let's see. So we're going to have. Let's see. More technical difficulties. Stand by.
Uh-oh, I disappeared now.
Well, you were supposed to disappear.
Oh,
There we
I don't
go.
want to disappear, though.
Well, you'll be back. I promise.
We wanted you to disappear.
Oh, I'm back again. Look at me.
Bear with me. So on the left side of the screen, if you choose to subscribe to this channel, you are going to see your name pop up there. On the right side of the screen, we will have a YouTube live chat if everything goes okay. I think it might. And if it doesn't...
So wait, am I the subscribers or am I the...
I don't know. Okay, there we
Who's
go.
It's not a
me.
competition,
Oh,
Glenn.
hey, look, there's a hello on the
It is
screen.
absolutely a competition.
Hello.
Everything's
Thank
a
you for
competition.
There.
Okay,
Get on my side.
Here
You
we
want to
are.
be on my side.
We're back.
You know you want to be.
everything's good. So at the bottom, you're going to have the purple feed, as we talked about on Twitter. that'll have all sorts of stats, and during the season, it's going to have scores and things like that, information across the entire USL, NWSL, and more. So check that out at the bottom. And then on the right side there, like I said, you'll see the chat. So sorry about the technical difficulties. We're figuring this out as we go, if you can't tell, right? Okay, so first off, let's bring in our little subject box, our neato subject box here.
I like that drop in.
Hey,
Yeah,
like
that was
that?
nice.
Boom.
Thank you very much.
Smooth.
So first, I'd like
Smooth
to
like a
talk.
dolphin.
I'd like to talk a little bit about the 24-hour Purple People, and that is us three here. So, Glenn, I'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you become a Louisville City fan, a racing fan, and a soccer fan in general?
Well, I played soccer as a child when I lived in Maryland. I'm so old that I played in a league where boys and girls played together. So I played on the same team with my sister when I was a child, which kind of made me fall in love with soccer in general. And then when I found out Louisville was getting a team, I was super excited. We heard the advertisement on the radio, and we ended up buying season tickets shortly after that. And my lovely wife, Beth, and I attend all the matches we can. And obviously, it was a no-brainer to be a racing fan, right? Because they were going to play in the same stadium. And the more soccer we can get, the better, right?
Matt, what about you? What brought you to being the fan that you are today?
I just kind of bought season tickets with a friend on a whim, the inaugural season. I wasn't honestly that big into soccer, but going and seeing the atmosphere really just sort of flipped a switch, and everything was amazing. I fell in love with the Capos immediately and started doing that in 2017. I think both of you started in 2017 doing the Yelly thing too, and that was a lot of fun. Got a little more involved the next couple of years. Was a board member for the Coopers. I was secretary for the Coopers at one point. I was president of the Coopers at one point. I missed 2020 season because of COVID concerns. Didn't go to a single game. It was tough. And that's what kind of brings us here. I want to use this show as a way to sort of like ease my way back in to the soccer community in Louisville and be able to like connect with so many of you, because I've had such a great time and been so honored to know so many of you that, I wanted to get involved and get myself out there again. So.
Yes, sometimes when you take a little break, as you did in 2020, and understandably so, a lot of people did. I mean, a lot of people are just now starting to consider coming back to games, and I completely understand that and respect that. For me, I didn't watch a single second of soccer until my first Louisville City game. I remember seeing a poster or something. Katie might have saw it first and said, "We've got to go to that." And I was kind of like, So I was kind of like dragged to my first game, I think. We were sitting on the first base line with the Frozen Chosen. And it was really cool, but I kept looking over at the Cooper section and being like, okay, those people are having fun. So next game, wait, what do you mean those tickets are cheaper? Oh, okay. What's that? Okay. So we're going to go over there next game. So we went over there next game, and like the atmosphere was just really incredible. So it was really awesome. And I had a great time, and I don't know, just from there we just kept going, and I just kept trying to be as loud as I possibly could, and was asked to capo one time, and the rest is history. So, okay, so we're going to officially start on our deep dive into Louisville City FC. The clock has now started. Gentlemen, are you ready?
No. Wait. Yes.
As ready as I'm going to be, I guess.
We will start today by saying a few goodbyes. We lost quite a few individuals, a lot, right? Almost like 50% of our squad. And a lot of people that might have been there for a short period, a lot of people there for a long period. I think the biggest loss of the offseason, without question, was off of the pitch. Brad Estes, our beloved president, moving on, starting something new. Matt, when you think about Brad and all his contributions to Louisville City and racing, what are some of the things that comes to mind and some memories that you might have tied in with Brad?
I think Brad, you almost didn't think of him as a guy who was really high up on the front office, even though he was, because he was a man of the people, right? Like, I interacted with Brad more at tailgates and at holiday parties with the supporters groups than I did anywhere else. I mean, the dude's just super down to earth. He was really honest too about how he wasn't a soccer guy and he was just sort of coming into this blind, and was really sort of getting himself ingratiated into the whole soccer fandom thing. And it was just really refreshing. And he's going to be a big loss for sure, just from the personality perspective. Like that purple coat, that purple suit jacket, man. That's I'm gonna be looking for that on the pitch for a long time to come. It's just not gonna be there. It kind of sucks.
Glenn, I know you had a lot of connections with Brad, being that you're both former presidents with the Coopers and having a lot of affiliations and just being such a big part of the tailgate and all that. What are some things that come to mind with you when it comes to Brad?
So my fondest memory has to be Hurricane Nate, which is something that he would probably understand if he's watching the show. But he was just a great person. He was very involved, and I think the best part about Brad was wanted the supporters to be part of the club, right? Like, and he realized that we were kind of the heart and soul of the club, and so he made sure that he kept us involved. And if he did have a step or a mistake, he made sure to come back and talk to us about it. And he was just a great guy. He was easy to talk to, and I think he did a really great job. And he will definitely be missed. And he understood what supporters culture means to the club, I think. So he's definitely going to be missed, but I think that, who's got his interim role right now is going to do a great job as well. And when they find that perfect president, I think that person will be somebody who will also be involved with the fans and help us, grow the culture and the game itself in the city of Louisville. So I look forward to the future.
I do as well. I think for me personally, like Brad, as you guys alluded to, he did so much for. It was so much for not only the team, building the team and building a winning culture, right? But just for the supporters and as far as like the TIFO process and things like that. I mean, Brad was the one that he wanted that pulley system at the new stadium, and there was a few times because of COVID that we were a little unsure of how the league was going to be with TIFOs and the league obviously didn't want people, really close by each other and things like that with the TIFO thing. And Brad made it happen. I'll leave it at that. So just, can't say enough about him. And we'll definitely miss him. But we know we're going to have him around. That's for sure. But that being said, let's look at the pitch because a laundry list of losses, but a laundry list of some new people as well. Let's start with the losses for Louisville City. Glenn, when you look at the overall players that have left us and moved on, tell me who do you? I don't want to. You don't have to give me like a top three, top whatever, but just tell me some of the people that you think we will miss the most come March 12th.
Well, I think you got to start with George Davis the fourth, right? Like in the locker room. I mean, has a great presence.
Absolutely.
He's been with the team for a really long time. He's played in the USL between USL and USL Pro for 11 seasons. Like that's a great locker room presence. I think that there's some other guys that left the team that were really good here. You had Abdou Jam, who went to Forward Madison, Akil Watts to St. Louis FC2. As well as Pat McMahon, who's currently without a club, which I find is kind of shocking unless he's planning on retiring. He's a great, guy with a lot of experience as well. And then also you had, Hubbard retiring. I could keep going, John, if you'd like me to. I mean, we had a whole list of players that left the team this year that I think, are going to have an effect and leave some holes. But I think that Danny Cruz did a great job in the offseason of finding other players to fill those spots as well. So.
Matt, when you look at the losses this offseason, what hurts the most? Which one, when you saw the initial press release or what have you, did it kind of hurt you in the gut?
Jonathan Gomez is really the dude who, I mean, everybody knew he was leaving, so that wasn't a surprise, right? He's going to be that's a big hole to fill on the pitch. But for me, Antoine Hopeno has always been sort of a favorite. And I know that he's been a fan favorite, sort of super sub. He scored a lot of like legendary goals in his time here. And him leaving to join Detroit City, we do have a lot of forwards coming in that are going to fill that slot pretty well, and I'm really excited about. But Hopeno is one guy that I'm going to miss. I'm going to miss that hair flying in the wind, that mullet. I'm going to miss yelling things in a French accent from the stands. I mean, I still might do that, but yeah, Hope was a guy. He was always on the bench, and you could always sort of like, even when things were sort of going down to the wire, we're like, okay, Hopeno could come in, right? He was Hope. He was literally Hope coming off the bench. So,
yep, well put. I think Hopeno probably scored one of the most famous goals in team history against Indy 11 in the playoffs.
What a game!
I mean, just unbelievable. Go down in history of all the Lipa FC games, since 1832 or whatever it is. It was definitely
a couple hundred years now, John.
Right? Yeah. I mean, it's definitely one of the. To me, it's one of the lasting memories when you watch the Best of Louisville City from the 2019 campaign. I mean, that's by far the craziest goal, and the fact that we had over 1,000 supporters there, I believe, in Indy for that game. Unfortunately, I was working, but we had so many people there. The place went crazy, and we really take over Indy, don't we? We'll talk a little bit more about that. I do want to point out a few little notes here that Katie was so nice to give me. 29 cards. I'm talking yellow and red, not the kind of card. Well, same kind of cards you guys might get if you don't behave. 5 players that we lost were in our top 8 card earners. So it's possible that we might have a little bit more discipline on the pitch. I know that it seemed like to me we played a little bit chippier last season at times, for better or worse. That's not always a bad thing. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But, when I look at the losses, I really liked, it's tough. Kyle Gregg seemed to be somebody that was very much a fan favorite, if nothing else. He started off very hot. He kind of cooled down a little bit throughout the year, but he was able to come in a lot of times for Lancaster later in games and at least keep a threat going in the game. And he will definitely be one that I miss a lot myself. So. Go ahead, Glenn.
And he's going to Tampa Bay, right, John? He's going to go to one of our rivals. So we're going to face him possibly even in the playoffs, right? I mean,
not another lucky situation coming up, maybe. Yeah.
Evan says we're gorgeous, by the way.
Well, he's right.
Oh.
Right. Hi, Evan.
Someone else we didn't mention also is Lexi Swahi. He's with New Mexico United. He was definitely on some of those cup-winning teams and was here for quite a while. And I think he played very well in the defensive side of the ball, and he will be missed as well. So,
absolutely. Well, enough of those folks. We wish them all well, of course.
Yeah, forget those guys.
You're dead to me.
Let's talk about some of these new acquisitions that we've had this season. Some very exciting ones, quite possibly, and we can discuss this, but in our short time period as a club, I would say the busiest offseason we've had, and quite possibly the best offseason.
It's the Danny Cruz era, man.
Yep. I guess that's to be determined, but we'll see. So, Matt, I'll start with you. This season, when you look at all these new names, who is an eye-opener to you that you saw and you're like, holy smokes, we got him? Or anybody that came to mind like that you're super excited about seeing?
Wilson Harris is one guy for me who I think is going to make a big splash for us, for sure. SKC2's leading scorer, we kind of got all of their good players rather than them going into a next pro. We kind of looted them, which is awesome. Thanks SKC2. But yeah, him playing behind Cam and maybe in conjunction with Cam sometimes, I think he's going to shoot the lights out. It's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, those two connected in the preseason match against Phoenix, I believe it was. So yeah, something definitely to look forward to. Glenn, what about you?
Musha Galusa is one that I noticed right away. We also signed some defensive players, which I think was the side of the ball where we needed a little bit of improvement this year. We had Solar come in. He was playing in the Polish first team, right? Like the first division, I mean. So like, I'm imagining he's got to be pretty talented. I'm excited to see him. And then we also brought in Kyle Morton. So I think on the defensive side of the ball, we definitely made some improvements. And I think that was a part of our game we needed to shore up for sure. So I'm pretty excited to see some of those guys get to take the field and get to see some of those guys play on March 12th, right, at Lynn Family Stadium.
Morton is a 2-time goalkeeper of the year finalist too, so that's pretty exciting.
Right? I mean, this is a really good. I hate getting excited, right? Because I feel like I jinxed the guys, so I don't want to jinx anything. But I feel like this was a really good offseason as far as the signings. Like we signed Dom from the academy is signed on a first team contract. You had Serrano in the forwards. Yeah, and then you had Danny Fernandez as well as a keeper, and then Manny Perez. Like we signed a lot of really quality players. I feel like, right? So I'm trying to I don't know, hold back my excitement or maybe temper my expectations because I feel really good, and I feel like maybe Danny signed the guys to play his system and really do what Lou City does, right?
It's a new day. Yes, it is. We got younger. We got significantly younger this offseason, which is something that I think was definitely necessary. We saw kind of the first wave of some of these players that we've sort of been with. George Davis IV being the most notable. We saw the first wave of those guys sort of retiring and stepping aside. Luckily, I think George Davis has sort of joined the coaching staff here for the academy, which is a huge get, him and Luke Spencer. But we saw the first wave of them leave, and it's important that we got so much younger and Brent brought in all this talent to learn under some of the next guys who are gonna be leaving. I mean, hopefully PDP and Cameron play another 15 years at a very high level. But it's probably not going to happen, right? Like you want them to come in and sort of learn under this championship pedigree from these guys who know this place in and out, sort of take them under their wing and get them into our system.
I think the awesome part
we were the second oldest team in the league last year, and we've gotten significantly younger this year.
Well, I think the awesome part too is right that we show that we have this culture where we're going to have something for you to do after your playing career, right? Like you can come here and you can be part of a winning club and then have other opportunities beyond the field, right? Like you can coach and there are other opportunities here for a great player. So like you can, come spend your career here basically in Louisville City.
No, that's a great.
Frankly, we've got our shit together, right? And that shows in the USL that we know what we're doing. If you want to come play in title games, we're the destination.
Matt, I feel like saying that we have our shit together is like including us and into that having our shit together thing. And I feel like they have their shit together is way better.
Yeah, they have their shit together. Yeah. No one here but John has their shit together.
John has their shit together.
So
we do not.
My shit's apart.
I was waiting for this. So for using the first profanity, you're both going to get yellow cards. Congratulations.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for this
More to
moment.
come. More to come, baby.
So,
yep.
Excellent point.
You always going with 2 feet, right?
Excellent point by both of you. And I'm glad you said something about, the youth because, one of the things that I think a lot of people, just talking about Louisville City on Twitter and things of that nature is you heard a lot about, we're not getting any younger, but I think this is a good combo of we still have a lot of veterans on this team that are going to be able to help these younger players who are still up and coming, but man, they have their best years ahead of them. And the sky's the limit. I mean, there is a lot of potential with this team. I know that uh, with Owen Dahm. Everybody's been very excited about him, and having this academy, and as Matt alluded to, knowing that there's a system here. It's not just a team. It's not just a USL Championship club. There is an entire system from top to bottom, bringing people up throughout the entire soccer community here in Louisville, and it's just amazing what has been built here. Um, as far as just to kind of rewind, if I had to kind of say who I am most excited about, I'm really excited about seeing Kyle Morton. Now, I guess a lot. I don't know if I could be wrong.
Assault man.
Yeah, I don't know if
As
there's
a fat slow kid, I always played keeper, so I always have like a soft spot in my heart for the
you
keepers.
can
You know,
relate.
You got a lot of soft spots, my guy. You got
I
a lot of
do.
soft
I
spots.
sure do.
But he had 13 clean sheets in 2019. He played for St. Louis in 2020 with 51 saves, and he's named USL Goalkeeper of the Year twice. I think nothing against our previous keepers, but I feel like we did have a little bit of a difference between our team uh, back with Ranjitsingh to today. We've got so used to clean sheets, um, and I think with Kyle Morton we're going to see more of them. And who knows? There might be a little bit of competition still at that goalkeeper position. I know
For sure.
Danny obviously has been using two teams, basically an A team and a B team in the preseason, as most teams would do. So there might be some thought
John,
there.
can
We'll
I just
see. Glenn, go ahead.
is it's A and double A, right? Like, I mean, we don't have a B team here.
Well, not B as in quality, but
Yeah, we're like batteries, baby. We got double A's.
that's right.
Yeah.
I should give you a red for that joke, but I'm not going to. Uh, anything else on our new folks that we didn't bring up? Okay, I'll take that as a no.
Yeah, that's silence. Nope.
So let's talk a little bit. Unlike our favorite NWSL team, Louisville City has a schedule for the
Look at
2022 campaign. And save the date. There's some important dates on the calendar. Some fun games await. I know some early in the season fun games await. And some games are being juggled around on the schedule, from primetime dates to really bad dates. Looking at you, Indy 11. So, Glenn, we'll start with you. Tell me some games that you're most looking forward to. What do you think is some of the biggest challenges early in the season for Louisville City?
Man, so some of the games I was looking forward to, I'm looking forward to that 4:30 matchup with Pittsburgh at home. Some of the matchups I really think are going to be important in the season are going to be later on in the season. We got Orange County on the 18th of June at home, and then we also have Phoenix on the 20th of July. We have some very challenging opponents. I love the fact that they've gone back to kind of a more traditional schedule now, where we're going to play each team in the East 2 times. And then we also have, I think it's 8 Western Conference opponents this year to play. So I think that's kind of exciting to see, how we match up against those Western Conference teams versus just seeing them in the playoffs, right? So we'll get an idea of where we actually are as far as progressing through the season. We do have that early season matchup on March 26th with Indy 11, which I know for a lot of people, they've circled that on their calendar. Although just because they're close doesn't necessarily mean they're a rival. But I feel like there's some other teams, Birmingham, we play them early in the season. I think that they've risen in the ranks, and they're almost a rivalry game for us at this point. Pittsburgh, I feel like, is definitely, one of those teams. They always field a quality team. And then you have, Miami and Tampa as well, which, I mean, we play those teams. Was it August? We play Miami. August 13th, we play Tampa Bay at home, sorry. And then early in the season, I think we play Miami at home as well. So we have a lot of March 19th, actually, we play Miami at home. So a lot of early season tests to see where we're at and see how the team is developing and see what the season's going to look like.
Hey, real quick, Anthony brought up a question. I hate to circle back to a previous topic. and I don't know how to rewind on this program. So Anthony would like to ask, do you think Elijah makes it back to the team this season or stays out in Tucson for longer than June 1st?
I think that's a big wild card, man. I mean, I guess it really depends on how those rehab starts go.
Yep.
In Tucson.
Yeah.
But hell,
For
we
sure.
could use him.
Yeah, for sure we could use him. I mean, we definitely need defenders for sure, and it just depends on how long it takes him to get back in form, right? Like if he's able to get back in form quick, I think he comes back sooner.
Yeah,
So.
just judging by sort of the makeup of the roster, I think they sort of left a slot open for him to get back this year. So
Yeah,
I'd love to see him back as soon as possible, but I guess it really all depends on how those starts go.
Thanks for that, Anthony. I'm still adjusting to having to look over here at the chat. Okay, back to the save the dates. Matt, when you look at this schedule, lots of new faces. What are you most looking forward to in the 2022 season?
So Glenn took pretty much everything that I was going to say and said it already, but I'm just going to go and reiterate the Tampa Bay games. We're back in Tampa Bay on June the 4th. That's a Saturday. To sort of avenge what I think is the worst loss in team history. It hurt the most, at least. So
Why
I
gotta bring that up,
Matt?
Matt?
Oh, I'm sorry. It had to be said at some point. I hope we go in there and put 10 goals on them. Just blow them completely out of the water. Lipa this year, the Lipa, it's a little weird because we got in a Wednesday game away, which I guess. Indy's like NYCFC, and they don't know where they're playing one week to the next, so they've got to sort of work around everybody else's schedules.
Are they also wearing orange randomly?
I sure hope not. No one should wear orange. Garfield the cat is the only one who can get away with wearing orange in this house.
If they show up in Stamford, Connecticut playing, I'm gonna be very upset. What other matchups? Anything else come to mind?
Our final regular season matchup with Red Bulls 2 will be on July 9th. And that they'll be moving to Next Pro next year as an MLS 2 team. And they've traditionally been, we've had a lot of big games against them. We've had a lot of Eastern Conference title games against them. So it'll be sort of bittersweet to see them walk away after all this. But I mean, there's a big turnover. We're just every year with them. So
wait, they're going to move to NXT and lose to AEW?
They are. Yeah, they're going to on the head-to-head portion every week.
Yes. So really quick, something I don't think we brought up, but I think we should have, is Detroit City is coming to the USL next season.
Mm-hmm.
And we play them pretty early in the season away, which I think it's also on a Wednesday, unfortunately. But we do, near the end of the season, we have them on October 5th at home. So
went ahead and
that's
stole another
exciting,
point that I was going to make, Glenn. Thank you for that. No, yeah, Detroit, for me, I think they're a big wild card this year, and having them, they're the second to last game of our season this year, so that could end up being a huge matchup depending on where things fall on the table.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go
ahead.
We finished the season with the Hartford Whalers as well, so
The Whalers.
I mean, Athletics. Sorry,
they're the Whalers. You're a whaler.
Oh Lord. Well,
I might be a whale, but not a whaler.
I think for me, like I'm most excited about having Orange County come here. The champs of the USL on the 18th of June is the one I'm really looking forward to. And I think early season wise, just in a couple of weeks, we play Louisville City 2. Miami FC, and that should be a very last time we played, if you recall, in the playoffs, that was a chippy affair. They played very hard in that game. It was a good game. I believe we won 1-0 in that one, if I recall. But I think there's some little animosity there between those clubs with all the former players for Miami. So they'll be on Lynn Family Stadium on March 19th. That should be a good game. And Indy 11, always a good time with them, especially when we go and invade their stadium. Unless Monster Jam's in town. Then they'll cancel the game.
Monster Jam.
Okay. Well.
So can I?
Yes.
I want to bring that up, John, real quick. I wanted to bring that up. So I think a rivalry is a team that you're competitive with year in, year out. So I think that like Pittsburgh and Tampa and Miami, those teams are our rivals. I feel like Indy's a team that's just close, so they consider it a rivalry. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I mean, it's more of a rivalry for us in the stands.
I'll
and
tell
less
you.
For the...
It's a rivalry.
Let me tell you how
For
I
me,
feel.
anyway.
Let me tell you how I feel about it, Glenn. That's how I feel about it.
Boom.
Oh,
Boom. Well
there it
handed out,
is.
John. Great job.
A moment in history.
Fair.
Yeah,
Fair.
nobody can hear you, buddy. It's
Book this
called
man.
LIPA FC, Louisville Indianapolis Proximity Association Football Contest. We're close. See, it's a joke. Do you get the joke? We're close to each other.
We've
That
been
is the
doing
joke.
this
Your point.
since the beginning of time.
Right. It's the oldest rivalry in all of soccer. And how dare you say such a thing? Pour one out for.
Oh, that's why I said it. Now
that-
we're getting to the bottom of it. We're
He
getting to the
wanted
bottom
to
of
take
all
a
the
drink,
problems.
is what it came down to. Okay. All right, buddy. I'm gonna take you out. I'm gonna take you out of timeout here. So let's move on. Hey, you're back.
The Lucidity
Wait, am I still on a yellow then?
No. We'll get rid of that. Sorry. Okay. All right. So hot topic. No, it's
We're gonna
not
talk
your
about black t-shirts.
Yeah, it's not your favorite goth store.
No, Guyliner.
It's not your favorite goth store in the mall. Hot topics around.
I really need some Funko
club.
Pops.
I'll tell you a hot one that I think is the Sun, but we won't talk about
It's
that.
hot.
Yes. We'll talk about a little
What a hot take.
Little off-season rumblings. John Neese bringing up those three magical letters that we don't necessarily want to hear. MLS, which started their season yesterday. So we'll have a quick discussion here before the half. This might not be a quick discussion, but I mean, the discussion is out there. It's been out there for a while,
Right.
circulating. So just real quick, tell me a one sentence pro and one sentence con, or a short pro and a short con. Matt, I'll start with you.
So the pro is you're playing with not the best competition in North America, because that'd be Liga MX, which I implore all of you to watch because it's really fun soccer. It's the highest level that you can play against in the United States and Canada. One of the cons, I believe, is you lose a lot of your autonomy when you sort of buy into the MLS system. There you go, Glenn. Glenn, what do you got?
I mean, you stole all the really good points. I agree with Liga MX, way better soccer in North America. I mean, like, if you're going to watch something, definitely a great product. I will say that, it is the best product in, I guess, the United States, maybe. You do have some decent players, I guess, if you're going to go pros. The cons are, for sure, like, you can't be as independent as you can be in USL, and you don't get to choose who your players are as much, and like, the league has a lot of say in what you do. And I think that, I mean, granted, USL has rules and regulations of what we can do, but I think MLS is much more strict than USL. And
Oh yeah,
man, I don't know. I also feel like we get a chance. Like, there's a more connected feeling to our USL club, right? Like, I feel like MLS isn't as connected to the fans as USL. Does that make sense?
It's the difference between seeing a band in like a smaller club and in like a stadium, right? Like, we're able to. I mean, just recently there was a lot of controversy about Kentucky Farm Beer on Twitter. Sorry to bring it up, guys, but like, you can get together as a fan base, as a group of people, and then discuss that with the club. Like, that's not necessarily things that happen on MLS, right? Like, they're a much bigger, and the bigger the ship, the harder it is to steer, right? The longer it takes to turn that bad boy around. And in USL, we're more adaptable, I suppose, than MLS. So I've seen a lot of people online say that they would stop supporting the club, and I wouldn't go that far. But it wouldn't be like it is now, honestly. Maybe not one iota like it is now.
Yeah,
It'd be a much different experience.
the people that say they would stop supporting the club is just probably the most irritating thing that I hear about this, because being like I said earlier in the show, being new to soccer when I started watching Louisville City, like I could care less what league we are in. Now, I say that from a standpoint of the letters that the league are. I don't know enough of the insider details when it comes to the supporter experience. I do know that there's a lot of, as Glenn said, like regulations and things like that. But nevertheless, I mean, that's something that, and I think that tweet might have been taken a little bit out of context to begin with. It might have been a little bit overblown. Like, oh, he said MLS. Well, it's happening. It's a little far-fetched,
Don't you need a billionaire? Do we have any billionaires?
Exactly. Like the money alone, right? We need a lot of money to go to MLS. Like you need somebody who's got deep pockets to take you to MLS. And I mean, our ownership group is great, but do we have somebody that's going to want to put that kind of money into the team? And
we need stadium expansion as well.
Yeah. You'd have to close in the end where we have that beautiful board above Scouse's house. I don't think we're ready for that yet. I think
we've got that beautiful sun that's boring into our eyes every day.
The sun if we join MLS. Oh. All right. Well, guys, I think that just about does it for our first half as we hear the whistle to bring us to a close. Now, we will be back shortly to talk about Racing Louisville FC. We hope that you stick around. Right now, it is halftime hug time. Halftime hug time! "24-Hour Purple People" will be right back. Just like our original crest was after that terrible one. You guys remember that? Yeah.
Are you tired of having your property seized by the authorities? Try Maddie's Mule Service. Maddie's Mule Service, guaranteed to get anything you want into the country. We only get paid if your product makes it to your destination safely. Try Maddie's Mule Service. Call us at 555-555-5555. That's Maddie's Mule Service. We'll get anything from point A to point B without getting caught.
24-Hour Purple People are not affiliated with Maggie's Mule Service. Call Maggie's Mule Service today. That's Maggie's Mule Service. 555-555-555-555-555.
Next Sunday, my prophecies will be revealed.
Welcome back. I don't know why that. Catherine Damas, something about that. Catherine Damas. How do you pronounce her name? I guess we'll find out soon enough. So it's time for our second half of action. We're going to bring you back to our main screen. All sorts of music here playing. All right. So it's time for some Racing Louisville FC. I'm really excited about this team. Louisville?
Yeah, it's pronounced Louisville.
Louisville?
Yeah.
I'm not even from here, and I know that's wrong.
So our inaugural season is over, gentlemen, and not the best of years, and a lot of things happened. Okay.
Wait, John, can I stop you for 1 second?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, cool. So I mean, it wasn't a great season, but it was our first season, and they don't always have to be great. They can sometimes just be fun. And it was awesome to have the team here. And I'm very appreciative that we got to have an NWSL team here to support, right? Like, I mean, it was amazing to get to go to those matches and see the best players in the world playing in Louisville, right? Like, I mean, I don't know. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, it's fine. No problem at all, except this yellow card. Okay. So
VAR.
So, okay. Nice to meet you. So we have, we're going to start off with our new players this year for Racing. And then we'll talk about some of the losses we had. So, Glenn, since you are so rudely interrupted me, I will start with you. When it comes to the Racing Louisville team on the pitch this season, Uh, Obviously, we added some big names and pretty excited about this team. Tell us a little bit about what you are seeing with this new squad coming in, some of these new players.
I'm really excited about some of our draft picks, right? Like I think we drafted very well in the midfield, especially. You have Howell coming in, Jalen Howell coming in the midfield. Our second overall draft pick, right? Like, and we signed her to a multi-year deal, so it shows that there's a commitment, right, to grow a team and build it around some of our talented players. We also brought in Jess McDonald, which I thought was a great signing from the Courage. She's been in the league for a little while, and we definitely need some leadership in that locker room, I feel like, and I think that she's going to be excellent for us. And then I think we also drafted, what was it? We drafted
Vanna DeMello.
Beal. What, DeMello? Yeah, DeMello. Is that our fourth pick?
Number 4 overall, yep.
Yeah. And then we also had Davis, who we drafted 13th overall, right? Like, so I think we drafted pretty well, and I'm looking forward to the team on the field. We also do we skip over the fact we have a new coach?
Well, we might have. Tell us about the new coach.
Maybe you did.
I mean, I'm just gonna call him Bjork because like his name I don't want to say it wrong, so I'm gonna call him Bjork for now.
Most people will.
I mean, he's shown a winning pedigree in Europe, right? Like, and coach who's won Coach of the Year, won 2 leagues. I mean, so he's definitely somebody who seems like he's coming in to win. And hopefully he'll be a great fit for our system and the players he's drafted and the players that have joined our team. I'm pretty excited. I mean, I don't know. It's really amazing to get to see some of the best players in the world, right? Like, I mean, these are players who've played on teams that have won multiple World Cups, right? Like, I don't know.
No, absolutely. I mean, and he has an intensity about him, but I also have heard that he's kind of a little chill, got a little chill to him. He encourages a lot of the energy and wants to see the team just kind of step it up when it comes to taking chances and putting their foot out, literally, and just making plays happen on the pitch. And I think, first off, I don't know if you guys have seen him like standing next to a regular sized human. He is like 6'9".
Was Glenn?
Well, yes, but he's like he is massive, and he's got the tattoo sleeves. I mean, no, it's nothing new for you guys, but
Tattoos make you cool,
right?
Yeah, they do. They do make you cool. You're right about that.
They're a good stand-in for a personality.
Here we go. So, Matt, when you're looking at this new team with these new additions to our team, what sticks out to you? Who are you most excited about seeing? And do you think it was a good off season for racing? I know we have a lot of signings that are still kind of floating around, but how do you feel about things so far?
Jess McDonald. First of all, I'm glad the CBA got ratified.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big props to both the Players Association and the league after the debacle that was last year in the league. I'm really glad they got something on paper and they got what to me looks like a really fair and equitable CBA, which allows for free agency, which is going to be a big deal coming up in a couple of years. The biggest addition for us, it's got to be Jess McDonald, right? She won a World Cup. She's won a couple League Cups with North Carolina. I mean, you can't buy that kind of leadership, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and we've got a lot of young players. I mean, I look on the list in my notes and I put an R next to the rookies, and that's a lot. It's a lot of R's. I can't roll R's, but
Yeah, she won 3 shields with 3 championships with Courage. I mean,
she was an MVP of one of those championship games as well. So,
right. So not only championship experience, but was really good in those games. And really good in all the postseason. Courage obviously have been a dominant force in the NWSL in years past. Glenn, when you look at these additions, we have 2 goalkeepers, Jordan Bloom and Hillary Bill. So I guess we're going to see the Challenge Cup coming up, which we'll talk about. But I guess just based on who do you feel like they're going to be leaning to, or is Katie Lunt in the running as maybe a starter?
Wait, didn't Katie help win us a cup?
She did. The most historical moment in team history, I would say.
All of soccer history.
I was gonna say, how are we debating this? I feel like that obviously she's gonna be the starter, right? Like she's been here a
She's
while.
the one to
She's,
beat for
you know, been
sure.
on the team for sure, right? She's the leading candidate for the starting position. So I feel like, you know, especially with Michelle departing, with Betos departing, like I feel like Lund is definitely who we're leaning towards. So it's gonna be nice to have some competition, though, right? Like that definitely it makes us better. Like the better caliber players you have that are your backup, the better your starter will be, right? Because there's that competition that keeps you fresh and keeps you wanting to compete. So,
Matt, anything else on our new additions before we move on to some of our losses?
So we had a nearly 50% turnover rate. I just want to touch on that a little bit before we start touching on the losses. Also, to circle back to Bjorkegren, which I assume I pronounced correctly, and if I didn't, then don't tell me.
oh,
I
don't
read
worry,
an
we're gonna pronounce
interview
names wrong all year.
all year. I read an interview where they asked like what are some of the things that you want to sort of turn around and work on, and he said basically fucking everything. So I appreciated his candor. As Glenn said, it's great to be able to see the top competition in the world. I mean, this is not just in the United States or whatever. This is the world. These are the world's best players for the most part.
Matt, can I just jump in real quick? It's not just
Please.
men and women; it's the best in the world. Like these are some players that have played for multiple World Cups, right? Like
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
the greatest in the world.
Yep.
Marta, like we got to see Marta
Right?
play. I remember standing in watching her like walk out, and I was just like, it blew my mind. I was like, I've read about Marta in books. I've seen Marta play multiple times, and it's like, wow, this legend, this absolute living legend, is on our pitch. It's crazy.
Yeah.
In
is.
Louisville.
It is. It is. It's kind of funny.
In Louisville.
I was talking to Katie about that. You know, like being at the racing game the first time. Of course, we have seats for racing, so it's a little bit different than being in the supporter section. We still go over to the supporter section, you know, and hang out and stuff. But like the seats for racing, being that close to the action, and it does feel like you're almost. They are like superstars. It's weird. It's a different. It's different. Not taking anything away from the boys, but you know, you're seeing, as Glenn said, you know, just world class, some of the best in the world. You know, we just had Emily Fox and Jalen Howe representing in the She Believes Cup. Fox started 3 games and was being pesky, I would say. She was all over the pitch, right? Pesky Fox. That pesky Fox.
Pesky.
She had a red card.
That pesky Fox.
Ebony Salmon for England. Surprised she has not been. Was on the U23 squad. I'm surprised she hasn't gone up from that. But I mean, there's just a lot of combinations for racing this season, and having a new head coach. And hats off to Mario, you know, taking over the team last season as he did. And,
Well said. Yeah.
and I think he.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think of nothing
Love
else.
Mario. Love
you
him.
know, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the guy. Have you seen one negative thing about him? No. I mean, he's just such a leader, and somebody you just want to have around our entire organization. So hats off to him, but I'm very excited about seeing.
Not an easy task, right? Having to step in and sort of stabilize that ship.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, hats off to Mario for sure.
Yep, absolutely. Unfortunately, there were some losses. Of course, we talked or I think Glenn mentioned Michelle, just a fan favorite, and what a keeper! What a keeper! Just
Captain, my captain.
Yep. And
Right.
Of course, you don't really want your keeper to be the player of the match all the time, but boy, she kept us out of a lot of rough occasions at times for racing. So other losses, guys. Glenn, I'll start with you. What do you think are some of our key losses in the offseason with racing, and who are you the most sad about singing go?
So I'll start with key. I think that Yuki is definitely a key loss. I understand why she wanted to go back to Chicago. That makes perfect sense to me. But I definitely think that she was excellent in our locker room. I mean, she was a captain as well as Michelle. Personally, I'm sad to see Savannah McCaskill leave. She was one of my favorite players. I felt like she gave 100% every time she stepped on that pitch, and I felt like she played really well. I'm definitely going to miss her. And I know we traded to get that 6th overall draft pick and that $25,000 in allocation money, but I feel like, man, she was a great player and she served our club well. Obviously, Michelle is also another big loss. Like, we already talked about that, but like also Balcom left for North Carolina. I mean, I could keep. I mean, we definitely turned over quite a few players, and I felt like there are a handful of players that definitely were contributors that we lost last season, and that I was sad to see go. But I'm excited for the new season, excited for these new players and the new coach to see, you know, how his system works and what he's looking to do on the pitch. So,
Matt, what about you?
Savannah McCaskill definitely for me was kind of I understood again why Yuki wanted to leave, even to an extent, even though I didn't like it. I understood the Betos decision, but Savannah McCaskill, she was a young player. She's only like 26. And yeah, I just loved watching her out there. Like she was all over the pitch. Great player. I was pretty sad to see her leave. But the fan favorite, Betos was sort of the one that tears your heart out. And again, given the situation that the team was in, you sort of had to blow things up a little bit, right? I mean, if you really wanted to push forward, we had a couple people on our roster that didn't want to play for us, and those aren't sort of got rid of those contracts. But Betos was our captain. She led the league in saves, which is commendable. She had 11 saves in our first win. That's what I remember most about Michelle was that clean sheet win against Washington. I mean, she just played her ass off, and she wanted to stay here. She was pretty upset on Twitter and, you know, in interviews afterwards because she wanted to sort of stay here and start a life here. I mean, she really loved Louisville, so that it hurts that she's gone. But I gotta assume that Bjorkgren knows what he's doing, right?
He's
Getting younger.
definitely has the experience.
I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She will
If you're
definitely
gonna lose
be
somebody
missed.
like that with like a heart like that, I mean, yeah, you want to at least get better at that position.
I feel like also just, you know, how Louisville City works and Racing Louisville, you know, is the same thing where we're building a culture, right? And a system. So I feel like players like Michelle, especially, like that was somebody who you could have had like a George Davis or maybe even a Luke Spencer, where they could have been in the system to help us, you know, in that academy, especially with us moving into USLW and having the academy program. Like, you need some of that veteran leadership that's going to want to stay and be part of that program to build the system where we can develop our own players throughout the years. So
that's key.
I think she'll be missed the most.
Yeah, absolutely. That is key. I mean, she brought a lot of experience and veteran leadership to the team. I'm curious, who do you feel like is going to kind of step up in that role? Veteran
Goalkeeper?
leadership. Well, no, veteran leadership. Like, you know, just kind of being a leader on the pitch.
Oh, it's got to be Jess McDonald for sure. I mean,
what about Nadim?
I'd be shocked if she wasn't captain this year. I mean,
you don't think Nadim will step up and help our players? I feel like she's a veteran as well, and she's played in for a lot of great teams, and I feel like she has a lot of knowledge.
She's a doctor, for crying out loud.
Right?
Yeah. Well, when is she back with the team? Is she back with the team now? She's training, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
We'll see.
I also think that I also read an interview where some of the younger players were talking about how they've only been in the league, you know, maybe 3 to 4 years, and are now sort of accepting those leadership roles because the team is so young, because we have so many rookies out there. So it's good that we've got players willing to step up and sort of share that experience with people who might not have it. So I think the locker room sort of rallying around each other is key getting through this next season. I'm excited. I think we've got a lot to look forward to. I think we're moving. Go ahead, Glenn.
I think as well, like it's kind of how Louisville City came to be, right? Like when we had all the things going on in that first championship, like the players played for each other, right? And I feel like when your locker room comes together and the players play for each other, like something changes there, and it becomes like it just becomes a team that's willing to put it all on the line for each other and play to their best of their abilities. So I feel like once they gel as a team and they find their leader and they get this all figured out, I think it's going to be amazing. And I think they're going to do a great job. And I feel like we do have enough leadership in the locker room that they're going to definitely figure this out. And I feel like this is going to be a decent season. I'm excited.
I'm excited.
You think we were second to last year, right? We were 10th out of 11 teams, right? Or 9 out of 10 teams. Do you think we creep up the table this year? Do we finish better than we did last year?
I think we're a playoff caliber team with the talent we have.
I think we're playoff caliber? Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
We'll see. All right, moving right along. I think one of the highlights of last season was the first ever Women's Cup, which we held here at Lynn Family Stadium. We have a Challenge Cup coming up that NWSL is still kicking off their season with. I thought that had something to do with the fact that they couldn't have fans in the stands. That's how that thing came about. But I think it's also part of the new CBA, or I could be wrong, but that's why you are the panelist and I'm just the guy that pushes buttons. But
we don't know what we're talking about either.
Right? I was like, you might as well give us some buttons to push because we know about as much as you, buddy.
Cup
I don't give me any buttons.
Over. So the Challenge Cup starts on March 18th, which is a Friday evening in Louisville. We are hosting Kansas City, as we did last season as well. When you look at the Challenge Cup, the Women's Cup, what I was kind of getting to, what a moment, Katie Lunt and just that whole entire thing. What a great, and it's back again, and I believe it's on a 5-year deal in Louisville. And the turnout was great for it. Very exciting games, and to see the international players throughout the world was just great. But the Challenge Cup, so March 18th, Challenge Cup, I believe the championship is in May. Hopefully we'll get a schedule pretty soon. But when you look at the Challenge Cup, how do you like our chances and that kind of thing? Glenn, I'll start with you. You look like it's got something on your mind. Or it's the bourbon. I don't know.
It's probably a little bit of both. We have I think we have a winnable path, right? So we get Houston, Kansas City, and Chicago. I feel like Chicago is probably the most difficult team in our group, right? But I feel like there's 3 teams will advance. There's 3 groups. So the 3 first place teams advance, and then 1 second place team. When I look at that, I feel like we're either going to be the first or second team in our division, and I feel like we can, in our group, sorry, I feel like we can score enough points to advance into the knockout round. So I really like our chances. If you look at the other teams that are the other groups, Group 1 is Washington, North Carolina, Orlando, and New York, New Jersey. And then Group 3 is Portland, San Diego, OL Reign, and Angel City. So I think that if we can advance, we get a pretty exciting matchup in that knockout round. And if we can advance by winning our group, that's even better because we get to host a game against an exciting opponent, I think. So I'm pretty excited, and I like our chances.
Are you as optimistic, Mr. Dalton?
I do think that we got, it's not a draw because they're grouped based on regions, but I do think that our group is probably the most winnable out of all the groups that you just mentioned. And I also like to say that I love cup competitions, man. I love the round robins. I love the knockouts.
And the Open Cup's back on the men's side. So
yeah. So just give it to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Chicago's definitely going to be our toughest matchup there. But I think we've got some winnable games. And I think the first 2 games are at home, which you always like to see. So if you've got both season tickets for Racing and City, you're gonna be watching a lot of soccer in the next couple weeks for a couple weeks. So
yep, back to back.
Excited.
Yep, 48-hour party for the 24-hour Purple people. I would like to also say that Baldwin says she will be back for the first game like Cena at MSG in 2008. Big pop on that one.
Gonna pump her full of steroids.
And at MSG. Very good. Moving right along, probably one of the bigger announcements in the off season, I would say, just kind of surrounding the entire soccer scene here, is the USLW League, which is going to be USL's Women's League, which is really exciting to see more women getting the opportunity to play the beautiful game. And Louisville will have a USLW team, which I am excited about seeing. Gentlemen, we'll start with you, Glenn. Tell me a little bit about this USLW. I'm unfamiliar, being that I'm the button pusher.
Really pushing my
Well,
buttons.
it looks he's always pushing our buttons. So this is the inaugural season,
Glenn,
right? In
sorry to cut you off
2022.
one second here. There we go. Now I won't have to worry about that for a minute.
Man.
Okay, Glenn, take it away.
I'm on a yellow, so you may not want to give him a red because I'm just like seconds away
Well,
from
I
getting
told
my
you I was
next
going
red
to
card as
sing
well.
if you both got reds. Okay, go ahead, Glenn.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to you singing. You have a beautiful voice, Harper. Well, so USLW racing as a team that they're going to play inaugural season 2022. We're going to be in the Great Lakes Division. They're going to play the games at the training center, I believe, and they're going to be free to the public, right?
Yep.
So you're going to be able to go see these matches for free. So you can increase the amount of soccer you get to see without spending a dime, right?
Right.
Which is amazing. And it's going to give us another key component, I think, in our system to develop our own talent. So you have a team that's going to be in the level that basically is going to be what USL would be to MLS, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be that next division down. So you'll have a way that you can develop your own talent in-house and have a place for them to play. Exciting. We start May 12th against Detroit City, right? And then our first home game is also against Detroit City on the 15th of May. So this, I don't know. I'm really excited for this. I'm excited to see more soccer in the city of Louisville. I mean, this is already a great soccer community, but think about like all the things we've done to develop our own, like have our own system where we develop our own players. So you're going to be able to start a player from, their introduction to soccer and develop them into, going to USLW and then into NWSL. I'm really excited about all this. So I can't wait to go to some of those matches. And I haven't actually been to the training field yet, so I'm excited to go there as well.
Matt, what about you when you look at this new up-and-coming league? Pretty exciting, isn't it?
It was definitely in the landscape of women's soccer in the U.S. It was definitely needed. It was a niche that needed to be filled, and I'm really glad. Maybe niche isn't the right word there, but it was a need that needed to be filled, and we definitely are better off for it. The games are free, like Glenn mentioned. Wonderful.
And they said they're going to sell beer at the games.
Yeah, I saw that on the Beautiful
Beer,
Game
you
Network
said.
article about it. Becky Morgan does great work with Beautiful Game Network, covering racing too, by the way. So big ups to her. We get to play teams like Kingshamer FC, Kalamazoo FC, Flint City, Ann Arbor. So you're not just seeing teams that you see all the time in USL. You're seeing independent clubs that you wouldn't normally otherwise see. So that's really exciting. So you guys, has anybody seen any games over at the training facility? I've seen the lights on over there. I've driven past it.
Totally seen the lights on as well.
And so, yeah, I'm not sure what kind of seating they've got.
I'll stand. I don't care.
I think they just have some bleacher type seats, if I'm not mistaken.
Cup holders, because cup holders are always a huge issue with this fan base.
As long as we don't have to clap, we'll be okay.
I got 2 cup holders right here.
Right?
Okay.
Exactly. You were born with cup holders.
Mitts.
Oh, man, I wish I'd brought one of those with me. Beth made me these awesome beer mitts. So it's a mitten that's designed to hold a beer. So it's a koozie that's knitted into a mitten to keep your hand warm while you're holding a beer in cold weather.
Made that?
Yeah, Beth made them. She knitted them for me. She knitted me. I actually have 2 different sizes. So I have one for a tall boy can and one for a regular size can.
I just
I'm
imagine
probably-
you pull. Hold on, I need the tall boy mitten, and you snap open a case and then slowly pull it out. That's what I'm imagining. And don't take my fun away. Don't tell me that's not true.
Oh, it's probably true.
It's probably true.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. We are wrapping it up today with the future, but I also want to bring up Anthony asked a good question here. How long before our president is announced? Right now, James O'Connor is in the interim role. But we do need someone to fill that role. Do you think that's
I
going
would
to happen?
think.
I mean, March 12th is right around the corner, so I don't
Yeah.
know
So I'm not sure it's going to be before this season.
So, what was James O'Connor's role prior to being the interim president?
I'm not sure what his official title was, but it seemed like he was the head of everything soccer, right? Everything on the pitch.
Head legend.
He's director of operations,
Head
maybe?
legend. I feel like so, and maybe they're trying to give this a trial period to see how he does and see how he works with this role. And maybe that's something that possibly, you know, I mean, I know before we had a business person, right? Like Brad definitely always admitted to us he wasn't a soccer guy, but O'Connor is definitely a soccer guy, right? Like, so maybe they're going to test this out for a little while and see how he does and then see how they want to move forward. I don't know.
He was on.
I have no insight into any of that, but like James seems like he's very much focused on what's on the pitch, right? And
He
the
was
role
more
of president involves so much more than that. So
He was more so on the racing side. I mean, that's when he, like right now, or before this interim role, he was on the racing side of things, correct? Because he wasn't really tied in with the. I thought he was the player development. Where's my executive vice president of development for racing, Anthony to the rescue.
there we go. Thank you.
Yeah, so
Thank you,
I don't know
Anthony.
what they're talking about.
thanks. So yeah, I mean, like,
Anthony.
But
go ahead.
so I feel like O'Connor is a legend here, right? Like he's done so much for this club, and I feel like him being the president isn't that far off, right? Like, I mean, I understand that he's typically involved more on the player side, but like being the president, you have to not only be involved with players, be involved with fans. I think that's something he could handle possibly. I mean, do you guys have somebody
sure he
you
can
know you
handle
think
it.
who would be a good candidate for the job? Like, is there someone out there? Like, I haven't seen anything
I mean,
on the internet where there's somebody who I think would take the job. So
it's not exactly a role that look at Brad. I mean, he came in. What soccer experience? I mean, like he brought in business experience. I mean, I think the president role is kind of a, you're seeing everything,
But so Brad was like the business side, right? Like I feel like Brad was an excellent businessman and he understood the business side of everything and how it worked. And I completely understand that because technically this is a business, right? It's got to make money to support itself. But I feel like there was also a soccer side to it, and I feel like O'Connor is going to excel at the soccer side of the president job, right? And maybe grow into the business side, or maybe you have somebody who, is the VP who handles that business side of the operation.
Yeah, you can always delegate. Absolutely, because I don't know whether he's comfortable or not doing the business side. Yeah, obviously, I don't know that. Have you heard him say anything about wanting the role of president? Is that even something that he's interested in? Do we even know?
Anthony says as long as it's not Steve Livingstone. Oh, boy. That's good stuff. Okay, let's go back to the future. This topic was kind of a recap of what this show is going to evolve and what we want to do. So first off.
So it's not about the hip hop guy?
Yeah.
The producer?
No.
Oh, man. I was excited. I was ready for that.
Yeah, I bet you were. Here's this one for you. So, I love this thing. This is fun.
You get so much power.
We are very excited about having you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in today to our debut episode.
Cheers.
We're going to get better. I know there were some issues with the feed. I have a multi-monitor setup here that I'm trying to get a hold of. We did some practice runs. We actually did a little preview show to ourselves. We didn't post that. We might eventually post a Super Bowl. It was like a Super Bowl preview show. Glenn's saying no.
You remember what he wore on that show? Yeah, don't. That's not for public consumption.
Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna let me bring it back here, Glenn. But yeah. So
I love Chad Ochocinco. Okay.
So we were going to. Anyway, what I was saying was, thank you all very much for watching, and we want to continue to evolve this show. We're going to have a lot of exciting features. From time to time, we'll have little skits and bits. If for those of you that enjoyed the videos on Twitter and Facebook and stuff, we'll have some stuff like that down the road. I love doing like video editing and things like that. So we'll have some fun things. We'll have some fun features. Katie Damas, for one, is going to be here, or Catherine Damas, however you say. She'll be debuting before too long.
Nostradamus.
So we're really excited about that. So key takeaways, gentlemen, from episode 1, Genesis. Matt, I'll start with you.
I just wanted to say thanks to everybody for tuning in. I don't know how many people are in the chat right now, but thank you so much. I'm going to be that guy. Like and subscribe. Smash that like button, fam.
Smash.
Let people know, hey, it wasn't that bad.
Yes.
And we'll try to do better because we couldn't. I mean, I don't know if we can get much worse, to be honest.
Okay, Glenn?
Glenjamin?
So Matt, I gotta say that I was kind of disappointed at the lack of Genesis content we had on the show. I was very excited to talk about Phil Collins, and he wasn't in any of these topics. Neither was Peter Gabriel. So maybe next week, when we title the episode, we can make it about what we really want to talk about, which I think is Phil Collins and Genesis. So I think we really missed the mark this episode, but we'll eventually get better. No, we won't. We'll be about the same every episode. But if you want to tune in and keep watching us, I definitely recommend that. And do what Matt said and hit that like and subscribe button.
Like button, fam.
As many times as you can. And we definitely we love all of y'all. We really appreciate everybody checking out our show and tuning in. Oh no! I think I'm being told to go away.
Yeah,
is that the music? Wrap it up.
That's
the full-time whistle.
Music. Yeah, no, sorry to cut you off with the random graphic to pop up there. Tell your friends. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We're going to be kind of taking some snippets from this, putting it online and stuff. So hopefully this thing will grow and continue to be fun. We're going to try to continue to just do this on 7 p.m. on Sunday nights, every Sunday night throughout the entire season at least, unless somebody's out of town or whatever, and then even then we might even have some special guests, and that's something else that we're looking down the line to talk to some of the supporter group heads and people that not only heads but just members of the supporter groups throughout Louisville, and also maybe members of supporter groups on other teams throughout the USL, get to know our foes, so to speak. So lots of cool segments we got lined up. This is just a preview show of 24 Hour Purple People, as a preview show of the season for Louisville City FC and Racing Louisville FC as well. So we hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. And guys,
so John, you're saying this is just a tribute? This isn't the greatest song in the world?
This isn't the greatest song, but we do
you gotta
have,
believe me.
I will say, I'll leave you with this. We do have 2 hearts beating as one right there on your screen, folks. So thank you so much for watching and being a part of 24 Hour Purple People. We will see you next time. For Matt Dalton, Glenn Grum, I'm John Harper. Keep it purple, everybody.
See you next
Have
week.
a wonderful evening. Goodbye.